advise people to do if this happens again?
Well, I called. I mean, no offense. I mean, Mike, we love everything you do. I'm a big fan of the Health Ranger, but I was hoping to get a hold of Alex for the fact that what do you do when they stack right? You know what I mean? And they're prepped to come into the home. There's no negotiating with us. Trust me. There was no negotiating.
Yeah.
If you resisted, you died. That were the orders. You go for gun or you die.
Yeah, but well, I mean, this is invaluable information. I apologize. We only have a limited time here. I got to let you go. We've got so much more coming up here, but fascinating. I hope you call back and get to Alex as well. You know, I'll pass on this conversation to Alex and let him know. But that's some frightening information, and I just hope that the military. That the members of the military say no. They refuse to engage in gun confiscation because no doubt there could be outbreaks of violence and a lot of needless death and bloodshed if that happens. But thank you for your call, Chris. That's very concerning.
It was traumatic. All of a sudden, they were banging on the front door, the side door, and the back door. And they said, let us in. I'm saying, look at all my food. I got plenty of food. They kept pushing me back, and ended up like this.
Then, Patty showed them a small revolver she was carefully holding in the palm of her hand. A camera crew was there to capture what unfolded next.
I said, it's not even loaded. And I dropped it on the floor.
You got a gun.
Well, they punched me in the face. Look at my black and blue marks. Look at...
You said guns will be taken. No one.
Okay, wow. There you go. The footage, a compilation from InfoWars Nightly News, put together from mainstream media sources, plus our interview yesterday with Chris from Oklahoma, who we want to encourage to call back in at 1-800-259-9231. Plus, we're going to be taking calls later during the show. And by the way, I am just emotionally hit by all this as well. When you see this going on, that woman that they just showed just had a revolver to protect herself from looters or home invasion, and they punch her in the face, they throw her against the wall, and take her gun and leave her there defenseless in a situation where the looters are running rampant. This is America? I mean, it is. This is Chicago. This is New York. This is everywhere that the citizens are being left defenseless, and the murder rate is soaring even without a natural disaster, even without some kind of a false flag attack going on. Imagine what's going to happen when it really hits the fan. Much more straight ahead. Stay with us on The Alex Jones Show. All right, Info Warriors, start your engines. We've got a document for you to go out and search if you're not already familiar with it. It's called the State Department Publication 7277. You got that? 7277. Alex talked about that on the Sunday show. And this is the complete disarmament of the world laid out point by point. This is the strategy. It's called Freedom from War, and it goes back to September of 1961. And it is upon this document that the current discussions of the United Nations and its treaty for small arms, disarmament, registration, confiscation, and so on is based. So this has been an agenda going on for a very long time. The truth is, look, no matter what you think about your neighbor owning a firearm or you owning one, the point is the United States Second Amendment is unique in all the world, just like the Bill of Rights, as a sacred, almost a divinely inspired document, is unique in the world. And they want to destroy it. The globalists want to destroy the Bill of Rights, and Obama's doing a good job for them. Really, really obedient puppet to get that job done. And of course, there are other puppets standing in line to do it for them, but they're trying to destroy every right, every freedom, every liberty that we have in America today. Now, we opened up the phone lines for callers who were engaged in the military, or even National Guard would also qualify, who were engaged in gun confiscation. And we want to invite them to call in. The number is 800-259-9231. We also want to give a shout out to Chris from Oklahoma. If he's listening today, to go ahead and call in and tell us more details about what took place there. And just a quick heads up, G. Edward Griffin is joining us very soon in a few minutes. I'm going to ask him questions about gun confiscation. And then we've got a big whistleblower who was inside GlaxoSmithKline, who's joining us at the bottom of the next hour, about an hour from now, with incredible details about bribery of physicians, off-label marketing, violations of law, fraud, you name it. It's a big breaking story right here on the Alex Jones Show. Now, I want to go to a caller right now because of the video we just played in that last segment. We've got Charles in Louisiana joining us. You're on the air, Charles. Go ahead. Welcome to the show.
Yes, I was reporting every day. I was from New Orleans to Alex on a show.
Yes.
I was down there. But let me explain something to you. When they would take the guns away from the people, they wouldn't go back in the Ninth Ward because they would fight. And they would run the police out. Then they would come at night and rape the women, and knowing they didn't have guns.
Right.
Do you understand what I mean?
I know, exactly.
And the police, they were busy robbing the jewelry stores. That's right. The police was doing that. I've seen this. And people, and the men was nothing. And all these men talk all this bad stuff. They were shaking when they come there. But the main thing is, after they took them guns, they made themselves victims for the thugs that come up there. They would just come into a house and take what they wanted, take food, jewelry. And I'm going to tell you something. I don't know where the men are at, but giving these guns up, it's going to be the most awful thing you ever had.
Well, this is the important point, Charles, is that if you, sorry to interrupt you, but if you give up your guns now, you can expect to be that's going to be followed up by police department or other people. And by the way, I don't want to say, I mean, not all cops are bad. I know a lot of law enforcement, mostly they're good people, and they wouldn't engage in this kind of behavior. But in New Orleans, now we're hearing it from so many places again and again, they went back and they raped those women, and they broke into their houses, and they stole the jewelry, like you were just saying. It happened, and it's time to get out of denial and realize what happens when you give up your Second Amendment in this country. Go ahead, Charles.
Innocent people on the bridge just trying to cross the bridge. I reported that to Alex as soon as that happened. They just shot them down like dogs, sir. We were there.
Yeah, I recognize your voice. I remember you calling in.
They shot them out dogs. And that woman in the Irish Channel, they broke her jaw and beat up. She just come with a Bible and a revolver. And I tell you another thing is, the military, I have no respect after the military, what they did to women. Show me your breast for some water. So show me you're not thirsty. And the police, it was so bad. But they're going to take off the military. They're going to take the guns away from them and the police, too. And I told them that. They're going to take your guns away. And then now, what they're going to do when they take their guns away? They're going to want to be friends with us?
And now, also remember, then, none of those police were ever brought up on charges who engaged in that. They got away with it because the people were disarmed. They couldn't fight back. It was a chaotic type of situation. I mean, isn't that the time when citizens and neighborhoods and communities need to have a common lawful defense against looters, against lawlessness, against violent criminals? That's the time when you need to band together with your neighbors in a common defense with legal and lawful firearms. That's the point of having those tools of protection and defense. This is really, okay, we've got more callers on the line, a lot more straight ahead, but thank you, Charles, for calling in. And stay with us. We'll be right back with a lot more straight ahead right here. Stay with us. All right, let me lay it out for you here. The big issues of the day. We're talking about the gun confiscation that really took place, that it's already part of American history, took place in New Orleans. It's on the record. We just showed you the video clips. I mean, some of those were mainstream media video clips. We've got people, witnesses firsthand. You just heard a caller, Charles, who called in, who has actually called in many times in the past, telling us firsthand what he witnessed taking place, the most heinous crimes. The big picture here, and by the way, we've got Griffin on the line. We're going to be joining him in just a second. We've also got callers on the line. We're going to get to you, so please stay on the line. James in Tennessee with law enforcement, Joe from Georgia, and Tango from Georgia also, so please stay on the line. We'll get to you. The big picture here is, look, I know that Alex and myself both would rather be here talking about the spiritual connection with the creative forces of the universe, the creativity and the beauty of the world and human achievement, and actually positive outcomes for the future of humanity. We would rather focus on that. But the truth is, when you've got gun confiscation taking place, when you've got an oppressive a world government that's trying to take away your liberties, then you have to pay attention to that, because you are not going to solve that problem by sitting in a room, let's say, and just meditating. You know, the gun confiscation, the Federal Reserve, the printing of currency, the stealing of your economic prosperity, the taking away of your rights, these things are real. And even though we don't want to dwell on them because we don't want to stay in that area, we do have to beat them. We have to achieve victory as info warriors, as defenders of liberty and life and love and truth and all that is good in the world and even in the universe. I mean, we have to defeat tyranny if we hope to move on and actually achieve something great as a human civilization. And that's why we do this. So I don't want to dwell in the negative, but we have to be realistic about what's out there. And this is going on. You know, Obamacare is forcing you to do business with monopolized criminal pharmaceutical organizations. It's in your face. The gun confiscation is really happening. The NOPD really did go out there and rape women after taking the guns away from the families so they were defenseless. So it's real. We can't live in denial if we hope to achieve greatness. We have to beat the tyrants. We have to restore liberty. And that's the only way that we can actually achieve greatness as human civilization and protect the future for our own children and grandchildren as well. Now, with more comments on that, big picture view is, of course, Ed Griffin. He is really one of the pioneers of the liberty movement. RealityZone.com is one of his websites. He joins us now by phone with his comments on what's happening in the world today. Ed, thank you for joining us here on the Alex Jones Show. What's on your mind today?
Well, thanks a lot, Mike, for inviting me. What's on my mind? Well, I feel rather schizophrenic this morning. Everything at once is all on my mind. Somewhat like you, I appreciated your comments that we would rather focus on the more pleasant aspects of life, but the reality is in your face, as you said. Good analogy. While you were saying that, it reminded me of the fellow that was on death row in prison, and he was sentenced to be electrocuted in the morning, or hung. Let's just say hung. And he wasn't very happy about the idea. He was in his cell. He was dejected. This was the end of his life and everything. And the guy in the cell across the way said, "What's the matter? Why are you looking so dejected?" And he said, "Well, I'm going to die here in a few hours. They're going to hang me." And so the other fellow said, "Well, look at the bright side. You still have your health."
Oh, my, little gallows humor there. Well,
yeah, that's kind of how I feel, because sometimes people say, "Oh, you're so negative. You're always talking about these bad things. Why don't you look at the bright side?" You know. And
I'm so tired of hearing that from people. It's like, what, if your neighbor's house is burning down, you shouldn't tell them. You shouldn't call 911. Just let it burn down. Don't be negative. Don't tell the truth about something bad happening.
Yeah, exactly. And
it's ridiculous.
I call it the Jiminy Cricket mentality. You know, the song, "If you wish upon a star, no matter where you are, it'll all come true if you just wish, wish, wish." And we kind of teach that to kids, that if you're good and you're pure and your intentions are correct, and everything will work out just fine because you're good. Well, the fact of the matter is, we live in a world where there are a lot of people who are not so good. And as a matter of fact, the criminal mentality tends to gravitate into positions of power, because that means that they, government power in particular, because they figured it out a long time ago. Why should you fight the government when you can be the government?
Absolutely. What are you seeing in terms of the trending of criminality? Because one of the trends that's becoming very obvious